All right, welcome into Before Floor, an extension of Five on the Floor here on the Five Reasons Sports YouTube channel. Make sure if you're watching that you subscribe. That's how you get all of our stuff. We had 5 different live streams last night on 5 different sports, okay? You're not getting this stuff. You're not going to know it's there unless you subscribe. So make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button, and you will get all of our content. We had a Panthers live stream, obviously, with the news last night. Heat, Dolphins, we were doing just about everything. And, of course, one of the guys on this panel does an MMA show. You want to know when that's going to happen, too, on the Saturday Night Fights. So make sure that you check that out. I'm Ethan Skolnick. I'm here at the arena. I'm in the old NBA TV setup here, although I'm not on NBA TV. I'm here with you guys. We've got Ricky in the middle. We've got Greg next to him, Alejandro, our producer, right below in the hat, Jonathan, and then, of course, Brady. Make sure you check out Brady's latest pieces on the site. PJ Tucker being the quarterback of the defense. Make sure that you get that story. And, of course, our stories do not come with a paywall. I want to tell you about the 2 sponsors. You saw Biscayne Bay Brewing already. That's the official beer sponsor of the Five Reasons Sports Network. Also, the Miami Marlins. They also have stands here at the arena. Make sure you ask for it by name. If you're at a restaurant, get the Pastime Pilsner. You get the Tropical Bay IPA, which tends to be the most popular with a lot of different people. Biscayne Bay Brewing is where you want to go for that. That's the website. You can see all the different brands that they have, including the Marlins Lager as well. So go to Biscayne Bay Brewing. You can find out exactly where you can get it, which stores. It's right there on the site. We're also sponsored by our friend Mark Brown. Tell you about him all the time. MARCBrownPA.com. This is where you go if you need an attorney for a bunch of different things. If you got a real estate closing, he handled a couple of those for me. Did a terrific job. He mentioned 5 Reasons, $295 on the closing, which is a great deal. But also they'll take care of you from beginning to end. Based right there in North Lauderdale. Again, MarkBrownPA.com is where you go on the website. All the other contact information is there. And also, if you want to do any estate planning, young person with a family, you definitely want to take care of this. Make sure that your loved ones are taken care of. Go to markbrownpa.com. That's markbrownpa.com. There's a phone number, 954. I believe I always screw this up because my eyes are so bad these days. There you go, Alejandro. Thank you for doing that for the old man. 566-5678. All right, let's get to it. Heat Hornets tonight. I was actually just out on the court watching Tyler Hero take about 50 shots. I think he missed 3. And then Max Strus coming in after him. Bam Adebayo, the news today is he will play. He will play. There was a bit of a question there, but he is playing. He's getting honored, too. He's got that jersey for the Olympics is going up in the rafters tonight. We'll start with you here, Brady. Take with who's in and who's out. How do some of the matchups look tonight?
Yeah, Kyle Lowry and Bam Adebayo were, that was kind of a question mark throughout the day. Now they're both warming up with the intention to play, which just means that it's a nice way of saying they're just going to play. And I think that's interesting because they can play their entire rotation. As Spo was just saying, they're not really worried about back-to-backs this early in the season. Like, there's no resting certain guys or worried about putting this guy here, this guy there. This is game 5, so they're throwing everything on the table, and they'll worry about that later. And I think this is a game that you kind of need to get. Like, I don't want to say this is a must-win. Like, this is really early in the season to say something like that. But they're 3-1. We've kind of all talked about tomorrow night's game within Memphis is going to be a really tough matchup. You can either go end tonight and be 4-1, or you can end tomorrow and be 3-3. And it's really tough to be 3-3 heading into this tough part of the schedule. And as Pat Riley mentioned in his presser, they really kind of want to get out early and get, wins in the win column with the schedule that's in front of them. So I think this one's important. If you can start the season 4-1 and then head into those games and steal a couple, then you're really sitting nicely in the season.
Greg, isn't this the type of game they got Kyle Lowry for? They've struggled at times with playmaking point guards, particularly who push the pace a little bit. They're going to be facing 2 of those over the next couple of nights. John Morant is off to like an MVP level start. They see him tomorrow night on the road, which is not going to be a whole lot of fun. But LaMelo is playing at a really high level. Also, I feel like we say this is why they got Kyle Lowry. This is why they got Kyle Lowry tonight. This is kind of why they got Kyle Lowry.
You're right. It's the Heat's version of controlled chaos, as they've called it around the team. I've heard multiple players, I think, refer to that phrase. And now when the game gets chaotic, they have somebody that can actually lean into that and maximize the team in that way. Whereas I felt like before, when things got like that, they kind of got ran off the court in certain aspects. So you're right. Like, tonight's a good night for Lowry. I hope Bam can go big. But like, truthfully, I hope that they rest him tomorrow night in Memphis if he plays tonight. I know tonight's a division game, but I don't think that they should go too hard with Bam to start.
Jonathan, again, you're talking about Bam, but also one of the things I think we're looking at earlier this season is that the Heat have kind of overcome poor three-point shooting, which is not something they were able to do last season, but you don't want it to last forever. It's kind of why I was out there watching Hero and Strus and Robinson take some shots before the game. It's like, okay, does the form look good? The form looks fine. They're not making shots, though. Why do you think that is, and when do you think this stops?
I think it's just because the main focal point of the offense last year was coming out of the dribble handoff with Duncan. So the gravity was being kind of geared towards that. This year, he's kind of more in a catch and shoot role. And the way the ball comes down the court, usually we have it past half court by 21 seconds because Kyle Lowry's hitting, a touchdown pass all the way down. So we're getting the ball down a lot faster. We're getting a lot of different types of looks. I think we're getting a lot of pretty decent looks, right? Duncan, like I said, he's in a different role. So he's going to have to adjust from the focal point to kind of the recipient. And then as well, just overall, we haven't been hitting some good looks. Kyle has been struggling as well. Hero's been probably the best one out of everybody. And Jimmy kind of so-and-so as well. I'm not sure if he even took a three, but overall, I think it's just a new offense. Everybody's, trying to figure out. Like you said, the good thing is we're holding it together regardless. We're still pretty middle of the pack as far as offense goes, and our defense is holding it down. So I think as long as we hold it down on defense, our offense will come when the time is right.
You mentioned middle of the pack on offense. They are. They were 15th going into yesterday, and yet still first in the league in net rating. Simply because the defense has been so good. Ricky, we talk about tiers of teams, right? So coming into this season, you looked at the East and you said, okay, Brooklyn and Milwaukee, that's a tier, right? Provided Kyrie was going to be there. Next tier, Philadelphia, maybe, depending on the Simmons situation. Miami, maybe. Atlanta, maybe. Maybe New York is in there. And then you kind of looked beyond that and you said, okay, a Charlotte and Indiana, maybe if things break right in Toronto. It looks a little bit more mixed up, though, early in the season than we thought. Milwaukee's off to a bit of a slow start. Brooklyn's having some issues. We saw it the other night. I think that are real issues beyond just Kyrie. Philadelphia, obviously, we don't really know what they're going to be yet. And teams like Charlotte and New York look better, I think, maybe, than was anticipated. Do you think it stays like this, or are we going to return to the tiers that we anticipated?
No, I don't think it's going to stay like this. I think New York might be doing well right now, but I have them at 7th. Chicago was getting all kinds of love for starting off. I think it was 3-0 or 4-0.
4-0.
But those wins came against teams that had a combined 2-12 record. The Knicks also just beat them the other night. Those teams are going to be closer to the bottom tier. I don't think that honestly, I don't view that as an indictment on those particular teams, but more on the fact that teams like Miami have gotten better. Philly and Brooklyn are muddled due to their respective situations. Milwaukee will round into form, even though they may or may not have been struggling lately. I'm not worried about them. I think in the end they will be there because right now, when you look at the way the schedules are playing out, it's kind of supposed to be like that. I mean, just look at Miami. Miami's got the last few games that they've played. Honestly, and I'm not trying to be hope trafficker, or anything like that. They should be undefeated right now, if we're being quite frank. As far as I'm concerned, they're undefeated. They should absolutely beat Charlotte tonight. And they should absolutely beat Memphis tomorrow night. Yes, I know Memphis is tough, and they've been playing a couple teams that have been like they've been playing Golden State. They've been playing. They've won against LA. Those respective teams, have had their own issues to deal with. Yeah. Steph barely played in the fourth quarter. I think it was last night. They shouldn't have lost that game. LA shouldn't have lost the game that they lost. I think they actually beat them.
No, they did because Morant missed the free throw late. But yes,
right.
Yes.
But they almost lost that game. So at this point right now, Miami should be in the upper echelon of this Eastern Conference. And the reason why it's necessary for Miami to win these early games is so that way later in the season, when injuries, exhaustion, and all that stuff piles up, they will find themselves potentially with the top 3 or maybe even the second seed if Philly and Brooklyn aren't able to get their consistency together. This is the situation that Miami is in right now. And if they take advantage tonight, like Brady said, I think 5-1 or 6-1. Let's see if my math is correct. 3-3 is a lot worse than 6-0. So
I'm with you. I'm not used to you being the hope trafficker. So if you want to run in,
no, it's just fine. The truth.
No, but I'm saying now, next thing you're going to say, Greg's going to say they're going to lose all 5 on the road. But let's and we'll just flip the script here. Anybody, by the way, if anybody wants to ask a question that you make sure we'll read, if you want to hit the super chat, we will definitely read those questions before we get out of here. And again, thanks to our sponsors, Biscayne Bay Brewing and Mark Brown, PA. I'm going to go off the board here a little bit. I need quick reactions on this, okay? Three young guards in the league. You tell me which you would take for the future right now, okay? We'll start here with Brady. Trae Young, John Morant, or LaMelo Ball?
Oh man, putting me on the spot here. Okay. I would probably lean Trae Young right now just because of the playoff thing we just saw. If we're just going off that aspect, I think full on potential, I think it really could be LaMelo just because of what we've seen in such a short span. I know I'm kind of going in both ways, but I would probably full on potential. I would probably lean LaMelo. Actually, now that I'm saying it, if I'm starting a team and I want to try to move forward, I would take LaMelo.
Jonathan, rank them 1, 2, 3. Oh, I think Jonathan.
You're muted. You're muted. Go ahead. Go
You're
again.
muted.
There we go. Yeah. So right now, today, I would have to go today, not last season. Today, I'm going.
No,
John
not
Morant.
today. I'm saying the player you would take for the future. You're building your franchise with one of those three guards.
I think John Morant has it, right? Don't get me wrong. All these players have it, but John Morant is showing that next level, just control of the game. And I think if he's able just to continue to develop that and just get his jump shot a little bit better, he's going to be nearly unstoppable because his explosiveness kind of sets him apart from these other guys. But that's a really, really tough question. Like Brady said, LaMelo could potentially be a prolific, almost triple-double every game kind of guy. So we can't count out the fact of his potential as well.
Ricky, who do you taking? Rank them 1, 2, 3.
It's got to be Ja Morant, then LaMelo, then Trae Young. Because here's the thing. Ja Morant did everything Trae Young did, except in a tougher conference last season. This guy has made it a habit of knocking out the Warriors of all teams, okay? If you take because I don't want to discount what the Hawks did, but the Hawks, they got past an exposed Knicks team. They beat a collapsing Sixers team with a point guard who passed the ball while under the rim in Game 7. And then you had them lose the last 2 games of their season to a team that didn't have its best player. The Hawks are good. They did their thing. But Ja Morant, it's factor.
You got to change from that, Greg?
No, I actually am aligned with Ricky 1, 2, 3 exactly as he named them. I'm not buying the Atlanta Hawks. Look, a year ago, the Atlanta Hawks were a team that struggled to even think about playoff relevancy. And I mean, like, actually a year ago, we feel like that they've been this Eastern Conference team for so long. That's not true. Like, they made one run. So I'm not buying Trae. I'm all about Ja because when I watch Ja Morant, sometimes it reminds me of Dwayne Wade. So it plucks the heartstrings. That's the number one guy from that list for me.
Yeah, the other guy he reminds me of a lot he reminds me of Prime Rose too. Prior to the injuries, there's some similarities there in terms of the way he plays. All right, keys to tonight. Let's get to this. And before I mention this, we have 2 watch parties coming up. By the way, if you're in South Florida, you got to join us. I know everybody's upset that we're going too far north for them. Come on, it's right in the middle of the market. We're going to be in Pompano Beach. I know. Right, exactly. We're going to be in Pompano Beach on Tuesday for Heat Dallas. Be there starting at 7 o'clock at Dangerous Minds Brewery. They got great pizza. We're going to have some hat giveaways because I got a bunch of them sitting here in my closet that I need to get rid of. So we're going to give those away. We're going to give away some T-shirts, some pizza, some beer. It's a small place. We're going to take it over. It's going to be a great time. And here's the thing. Unlike dealing with Miami or whatever, it's a big parking lot, okay? You can go wherever you want. You're not going to have an issue getting there. It's right off of Federal Highway in Copans, if you're familiar with the area. We're going to be there on Tuesday night. The following week will be at Quarterdeck, the one in Sunrise, close to the Panthers Arena. We're going to be at that one for Heat Denver. And I don't want to hear that we're to blame if they lose because they always lose in Dallas and they always lose in Denver, okay? So that's why I set this thing up. It's not going to be our fault. All right, let's get the keys to tonight. Let's start here with you, Greg, and we'll cycle around.
So for me, the Hornets are the best 3-point shooting team in the league, 41.3%. That's what I'm watching. I want to see how the game is played. They're the top scoring team in the league. So, like, this is a great test. To me, this in certain ways tells me things about them that the Brooklyn game just wouldn't have. So that's what I'm watching. Can they keep up with Charlotte?
Jonathan.
The bench battle, right? As per the Greg's game notes, the Heat has the best bench right now at 46.3 points a game. The Hornets have actually outscored their opponent's bench every single game they've played this season. So I think with a little bit of a banged up Lowry and Bam, the bench is going to really have to step up tonight.
Ricky, and I'll let Brady close.
Yeah, I think Miami can't afford to leave points on the board. They need to hit their free throws. They need to be aggressive on offense, getting these guys into foul trouble. Remember how that blowout victory over the Milwaukee Bucks started. It started with getting their best players into foul trouble. You start doing that, you send LaMelo Ball to the bench. All those threes that they're hitting are going to be a lot harder to even touch, much less hit, given this Heat defense. So start with that, and Miami will be just fine tonight.
Brady?
Yeah, I just think the team with the fewer turnovers wins this one. Like, this is going to be a fast-paced game. Like, we know how much this Charlotte team likes to get in transition. We've seen what Kyle Lowry does with these hit-ahead passes. We saw last game that Kyle kind of came out and they were throwing so many hit-ahead passes in the first quarter, kind of tailed off by the second and the third. I think they're going to kind of pace themselves a little more, that they're not just going to throw it all out there to begin a game and kind of just mix it up throughout a game more in that setting. I think whoever kind of runs the pace a little bit more, is it LaMelo, is it Kyle? I think whoever kind of does it better, whoever has the fewer turnovers, I think wins this one.
Matchup I'm watching tonight. Jimmy checking Miles Bridges a lot tonight. Also, PJ Tucker playing him. Guy's gotten off to a hot start. He looks like more than I thought he was a high-level role player, to be honest. A little like Mikal Bridges. He seems to be more than that, and doesn't look like they're going to pay him either. That situation's worth monitoring, I think, particularly from a Miami perspective down the road, because he would be a hell of a fit down here. But I want to see, particularly if Jimmy plays him. We've seen Jimmy play a lot of center field so far this season. He may need to lock it in a little bit more. I feel like a little bit more of the way he would play against a T.J. Warren as we saw previously. So that's a matchup that I'm watching. But again, it's not going to be just Kyle on LaMelo. It's going to be a lot of guys on him. But you do want to see Kyle stay up with him. I think we're going to finally see the Kyle Lowry scoring game tonight. I would go, and we haven't talked about prize picks yet, but can use the code 5. I'd go over 15 points for him tonight if that's about where the number is. We'll check out where it's at. But I'm feeling a little bit more of a Kyle Lowry game. I feel like he's getting closer with his shot and his feel for when to shoot and what not to. We'll see if that happens. All right, thanks, everybody, for joining us. Again, go to prizepicks.com. Use the code 5. Go ahead. What is the number?
Kyle Lowry's at 13.5 points. Go over tonight.
Go over tonight. I'm feeling that. Okay, and if you want to go to Prize Picks, again, use the code 5. You'll get your bonus. They'll match whatever you deposit. So deposit $20. Give it a shot. Thanks to our sponsors, Biscayne Bay Brewing and MarkRoundPA.com. Thanks, Alejandro, for producing. And we'll see you next Tuesday night. Dangerous Minds Brewing Company. You can just look it up online, but it's right on Coatman's and Federal. We'll have a crew of us out there to watch the game and drink some beer and eat some pizza, give away some hats. All right, Brady can't have any beer. That's all right, but that's fine. You come. We'll get.
I won't be either.
We'll get you some pizza. Exactly, but we're still gonna have a good time. All right. Have a good night, everybody. 5 on the floor after the game, and post up 5R after the game.
And pace and spaces at halftime. That's going to be there at halftime. We're going to be live on Twitter as well. Thank you very much for being here. Now we're going to listen to some of the press conferences that we have available so far. Let's start with today's Eric Spoelstra press conference talking about this matchup against the Charlotte Hornets. Give me a second here, and we will start with that one. Eric Spoelstra, that was about an hour ago, maybe a little less than an hour, and he was talking about this particular matchup against the Charlotte Hornets tonight.
Hey, any determinations on Bam?
Yeah, he's going.
He's going to play?
Yeah, at least warm up with the intent to play.
The logical follow-up, since there's a banner tonight for Bam.
Yeah.
I remember the visual. He runs off the court, runs up the stairs, and he yells, expletive, something, banner, expletive. He was rather excited about the banner. What do you think tonight is going to mean when he finally gets to see it hanging there?
I don't know. Like, everybody has, different emotions about it. It was an incredible accomplishment. And thinking about, where he's come from and his journey to get to that point, to be in a position to help, the Olympic U.S. team win a gold. That's really amazing. And look, Bam is a student of the game, but also Miami Heat history, so he's seen the banners go up and that means something to him. I think it'll be a great moment for him. I think it'll be a great moment for Zoe, Timmy, Dwayne, CB, everybody else that has been able to do that, to see his name go up there as well.
Eric, Kyle is also on the injury report. Is he good to go or
Yeah.
warm up with the intent to play?
Yeah.
Thank you.
We good?
Sure, you have one more. Are you solid with the way that the free throw attempts and rate are trending for you all right now?
Yeah, look, that's how we want to play. There's been a lot of narrative about, how the rules have changed and everything. We want to be aggressive. We want to put pressure on teams. We have a lot of attackers. We can do it in different ways. As long as we're getting, to our game and things that are in our wheelhouse, I think that'll benefit us, regardless of whether we end up getting free throws, regardless of whether we're necessarily making, all the shots. We didn't, shoot a great percentage last game, but it felt like we were playing our game. That's the most important thing.
The job James has done with that team over there that you're seeing tonight, just what jumps out through five? I mean, it's only been 5 games, and they can obviously
Yeah.
play football, but
Well, this is not something that's happened overnight. It hasn't. They've built a program, and this has been steady, incremental growth. It hasn't been linear. That's what happens with young teams. But if you stay with it and you have a good program, rock solid coaching, and you have consistency of the message and the philosophy and the culture, you can start to make some progress. And they have a lot of really talented young players. They've grown up in that system. They've developed the right habits, and they were playing great basketball last year. For most of the year until that final stretch. So this is not really a surprise, I think, to a lot of the teams within the industry.
Coach, what kind of test is going to be for your defense team, even without Rozier, that's scoring 121 points?
Yeah, I mean, the number one offense in the league, number one fast break. We feel like we're putting a lot of pressure on teams, with our fast break attack and early offense. And at least by the numbers so far, they've done it better and more consistently than us. That will make you pay attention. So you have to be able to execute your offense and be able to have the proper floor balance to be able to have the right guys back. You don't obviously want to have those live ball turnovers, which they do extremely well. They put a lot of pressure on you. They have the speed and quickness and change up defenses that allow them to get some of these pick sixes. So we'll have to, be good with, the efficiency of our offense.
Eric, I recall last year, the first back-to-back, you said Andre the first night and against Milwaukee and played forward. Have you given thought to back-to-back approaches with an older roster? Is this something you took the long view of ahead of time, or?
I mean, we're really early in the season, and that's a different circumstance. We're playing our guys tonight. We'll see what happens, when we get to Memphis.
Coach, Dwayne Dedmon, the way he's played with the intensity and the energy, how gratifying has that been so far?
Yeah, it takes a unique kind of personality and professional to be able to embrace that kind of role. You're talking about 15 to 18 minutes of just bottled up energy, toughness, physicality, emotion, passion, all of that. And he's accepted this role, and he's really excelling at this role. And, we think he fits in really well. He's a great compliment, to Bam. And he brings us something that's similar in terms of the physicality, but it's different in the way he does it. And I think that's just a big time credit to his professionalism and his character.
All right, Coach, that's it. Thank you.
Right, that was Eric Spoelstra earlier today talking about tonight's game against the Charlotte Hornets, which should be starting in about 35 minutes. Let's continue listening to some of the press conferences. Now let's go back a little bit a couple of nights ago to listen to some of the players against or after their win against the Brooklyn Nets at Brooklyn. So let's go ahead and let's start with that. Let's go with Bam Adebayo first. Bam, here we go.
Bam.
Chola.
All right, we'll start with Wes Goldberg, locked on. Go ahead.
Hey, Bam. PJ was just in here talking about how it's 4 games in and everything is still very much in sort of the building process of things. But getting 2 wins against Milwaukee and Brooklyn, 2 teams that most people at the top of the East, what does that mean for you guys in this building process early on?
Like you just said, it's a building process. We got to keep chipping, keep collecting these wins, because when we get to the end of the season, that's when they matter. So we're trying to not let any of these slip away.
All right, up next, Ira Winderman, go ahead.
And there were a bunch of games last season where the rebounding really was an issue and proved decisive. And the way you step up a night like tonight with 62, obviously the offensive rebounds because of misses. But what's it like to see so many of your teammates attacking the boards the way they do, and especially sort of atypical of this team on the offensive glass as well?
We just flying around and just trying to get the job done. We got a lot of guys that just want to win at the end of the day, and they'll do anything to get that win. Diving out of bounds, diving for loose balls, getting on the floor, and we're doing it together and as a collective unit. So, it's paying off for us.
Thanks, man.
All right, up next, Cooper Moorhead, Heat.com. Go ahead.
Bam, your first couple of years in the league, if you guys beat a team that was on paper supposed to be a contender, it seemed like a pretty big deal at the time. But given the expectations for this group, does this win feel like not as special as maybe you used to earlier in your career?
What you mean?
Like you're meeting your expectations for yourself by beating a team of this caliber.
We're just playing basketball, man. I wouldn't say it meant more my previous years. Well, my third year, because we made it to the finals. But other than that, I wouldn't say like it would mean more. But we got a team with a lot of guys that have won, that have had that experience of, getting that championship, so they know what it takes. My previous years, we haven't had more than 2 guys. On this team, we have Kyle, who's won one. We have PJ, who just won one. We had Keith. And you got UD. Who else am I missing? Me, Jimmy, Duncan, Tyler have all been in the finals. So it's a lot of guys that know what it takes to get there.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you.
All right, up next, Anthony Chiang, Miami Hero. Go ahead.
Hey, man, with the rebounding, I know it's only been 4 games, but is there anything schematically you guys have changed that you think has led to that, just a big improvement in that area, or is it just personnel that you think has led to the improvement?
I think it's personnel. We're getting stops, and that's the biggest difference in our team. We're getting stops and we're playing in transition. So, our rebounds are gonna go up when we're getting stops and getting out in transition, having fun.
Thank you.
All right, Bam, that's it. Thank you.
Black Lives Matter, people.
All right, that was Bam Adebayo a couple of nights ago after the Miami Heat beat the Brooklyn Nets. Let's continue listening to some of the players. The next one is going to be PJ Tucker. So let's go ahead and put PJ Tucker here after the Miami Heat beat the Brooklyn Nets at Brooklyn on Wednesday.
How we doing, PJ?
PJ Tucker.
Get him out of here.
All right, we'll get started with Ira Winderman. Go ahead.
PJ, Coach was in here talking about how there's just a lot of like-minded players on this team. Bam always likes to talk about the dogs and the kennel and all of that. You've been a lot of places. You've been with a lot of tough guys. You've been with a lot of guys who have that sort of grit. What's it like to be around so many of those guys on this team and to see a night when everyone is flying to the boards?
Honestly, I don't like as players like you don't think about it like that. Like it's not like I'm like, oh, he's a dog. Like it's just like it's the energy. It's like y'all the way y'all talk about it, it's not like that. We just go out and play. We just play. It's good to be on a team where you can really be happy to trade. Like I can be on KD and Bam is switching, I'm like, cool. And Jimmy is switching, I'm like, cool. And Kyle, so it's like, cool. Like, we're not tripping. I know what those guys are gonna do. They're gonna play hard. They're gonna give everything they got. They're gonna, whether they score or not, do it again the next possession. And we can talk to each other. Bam can say whatever to me. I can say whatever to him. And then we can yell at each other and then go out there and we're gonna play and it's done. Like, it's like to have that kind of chemistry with guys this early in the season is nice.
Defensively, I mean, it seems like that's how this team is going to win. I know you can put up points. I know the three-point shooting will come around, but is that sort of the sense that, hey, you have your identity 4 games in?
Who cares, man? Like, nobody, like, oh, listen, man, we just play our 4th game. Like, we got to build. We're going to go through some stretches. We're going to be bad. Like, it's just not going to be good. But it's how we come out of that. Like, tonight, they took the lead. Like, we could have gave up and just been like, but we fought. And that's like, to get that this early in the season is nice, regardless of how the game went, the refs went, shots made, shots missed. I just like our competitiveness and how much, we fought. And at the end of the day, that's this early in the season, that's all you asked for.
Thanks for straightening me out. Thanks, PJ.
No worries, dog.
All right, up next, Cooper Moorhead, Heat.com. Go ahead.
PJ, you mentioned how comfortable you are with everybody switching, and you've played on some of the best switching defenses, probably ever. Brooklyn's going to test that style of defense. Where do you think this team is as far as a group switching?
I think we're okay right now. We're not great. We're not great. It's not great. Trust me. It's not perfect. But the thing with switching is even when you mess up, is having each other's back, and when you rotate and communicating, and there's so many more things that goes on to it. You're gonna mess up, but it's the effort and the energy in the effort of messing up. And we do that. And that's the key to it. I think that is a huge key to it. And it's a reason why our defenses look pretty solid so far. Has it been good? Debatable, but we play hard. So that I think we're gonna get better and better at it as the season goes on.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, PJ, that's it. Thank you.
All right, that was PJ Tucker, and as our friend Ryan says here, PJ was today at JJ's today in an interview with JJ Redick, and it's really good. I'm listening to it right now, and it's really, really good. So if you guys can go ahead and I recommend that. That's on the Old Man and the Three podcast and the account that you can find it there. So let's continue with our pregame show right here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel. Thank you very much for all of you that are just getting here. We will be talking about the starting lineup. I know there are a couple of questions about Bam Adebayo and Kyle Lowry. They were warming up, and Ethan Skolnick, who's there at the arena, saw them warming up. We have videos of them as well in our social media. But first, we're waiting for the Miami Heat to post the starting lineup. First, let's continue watching the press conferences from last game after they beat the Brooklyn Nets. So let's continue. And now we have Jimmy Butler.
All right,
Hurry up, PJ in here. PJ said, hurry up.
Jimmy, can you hear?
No,
Jimmy?
I can't.
Can't hear, Jimmy?
Come on, man.
Okay, can you talk to us about this team? Seems to have a lot of dogs. You've played with a bunch of tough teams like in Chicago and other places. What's it like playing with a team that's this gritty and the way they can dig down and win a game in this style?
It's like I always say, PJ, no, I'm lying. No, I mean, it feels good to be able to win games, knowing that you're not making shots. I feel like we have a group that prides themselves on getting stops. Everything's not going to be all good every single night. But when you do got dogs, they're always going to find a way to win. And we got a couple of them that just love to go out there and play bully ball.
And then the second part of that is you went through this with the team last season where the rebounding was really a struggle at the time. What's it like to see a game like this when everybody rebounded, and especially when Spo let you guys hit the offensive boards this hard, where maybe it was always about getting back and covering the backcourt first? Thank you.
I think it's good that we got everybody in there rebounding. Tyler be stealing everybody rebounds and everybody be talking about it. But it's still love either way. I led us in rebounds tonight. Okay, Jimbo, do that.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Anthony, go ahead.
Sorry, Jimmy. I got one question. On paper, obviously, this team was expected to be a really good defensive squad, but are you surprised by how dominant you guys have been so quickly right off the bat this season? And how nice it when you're switching at teams like the Nets to be switching with guys like PJ and Kyle that could also defend multiple positions.
No, yeah, definitely helps. But we got guys that buy into what we're trying to do. We don't got nobody that's sensitive. It's kind of like you say what you got to say and you move on, because everybody's got that common goal when it comes to winning. So I love it when like PJ or Kyle, it's like the most energetic thing that I've seen is just like, you're right to the point, say it how you got to say it and move on from it. I think you can do that whenever you're switching. I think anybody can talk to anybody any type of way and know that it's not personal. And I think that's the best thing about this group. Yeah, we can switch, but everybody can talk to everybody and know that no matter how it comes off, it's just to win.
All right, Jimmy, that's it. Thank you.
All right, that was Jimmy Butler. So we have the starting lineup for the Miami Heat for tonight's game against the Charlotte Hornets, and it is going to be the same one that they've used in 3 out of the 4 first games, the 3 games that they won so far this season. So we're going to have Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker, and Bam Adebayo. That's the starting 5 for the Miami Heat. Kyle Lowry, Duncan Robinson, Jimmy Butler, PJ Tucker, and Bam Adebayo. That's the starting 5, and that's all we have for you guys for today's pregame show. Thank you very much for joining us. Remember, we have pace and spaces at halftime. Join the crew there. We're going to be doing that halftime show. It's about 15 to 20 minutes. As soon as the second quarter is over, go to Twitter and we will be tweeting out all that so you guys can join it. And then right after the game, the post-up show hosted by our friend Royal Shepherd. Please go ahead and join that as well. As soon as the game is over, you can be there and join us. Thank you very much. Again, follow me if you want to here or this side. There it is, Alejandro VG32 on Twitter and Instagram. We're going to be sharing a lot of content. I'm waiting for my first chance to go to the Miami Heat games this season. Brady has been there. Alex has been there. Ethan, of course, has been there. And I'm waiting for my chance to go there and also put a lot of content for you guys in all of our social media channels. Thank you very much for joining us today, and we will see you later tonight here on the 5 Reasons YouTube channel, and also wait for a 5 on the Floor episode right after the game, and probably posting tonight or early tomorrow. Have a good night, enjoy the game, and we will see you here in a couple hours. Bye-bye. Have a good one.